It is Jazz June 1.2, which is to say, last week when I started to do our very first day of Jazz June, I ran into internet service provider problems. And when you have a schedule, you still want to get the albums done. So we have a new schedule made up to make up all of the jazz albums we'd had planned. But Kind of Blue by Miles Davis is going to be opening up Jazz June 1.2, followed up by Giant Steps with John Coltrane. Now, guys, get me some W's in the chat for Sin Cassette or Sin Cassette, however they prefer it pronounced. Also, totally goated Steve Zissou, thing there, but neither here nor there. Kind of Blue context, as provided by the Context crew. Join the Discord. Miles Davis was already an influential jazz trumpeter throughout the 1940s and 50s, having emerged in the bebop scene. The bebop style featured fast tempos and with complex chord changes and improvisation. By the late 50s, Miles had started exploring ways to give improvisation more freedom, space, and expression. This led him to modal jazz. Rather than navigating fast chord changes, the structure was stripped down, giving the musicians the space to explore a handful of scales modes. Kind of Blue, 1959, became the definitive demonstration of modal jazz and one of the most influential and best-selling jazz albums of all time. Holy cats, okay. Miles conceived the sketch-like framework only shortly before the recording sessions, aiming for near pure spontaneity. The sextet had minimal rehearsal and recorded the album in just 9 hours across 2 dates. Almost all the tracks were their first complete take. Bro. W musicians, dude. So the personnel on this, Miles Davis is the trumpeter in the lead. John Coltrane is a tenor sax. Julian Cannonball Adderley. How does one just go by Cannonball? Alto saxophone. Bill Evans piano. Paul Chambers bass. Jimmy Cobb drums. And Wynton Kelly piano on Freddie Freeloader. Bill Evans played on all the rest. Got it. And then here's a nice little graphic. I love our friggin' Context crew so much. Seriously, it's so cool. Insane lineup, questionable blunt rotation. Oh, that's hilarious. Sorry. Some jokes just hit you deep, you know? That's kind of funny. But, guys, you got to let me know. Because, again, Jazz June is really my way of trying to jump into unexplored territory. I need you to know that my exploration of jazz is probably one of it's probably truly one of the least explored genres out there for me, right? And so I am approaching this with certainly some ignorance, but I the more I have listened to on the channel, the more I have come to really respect it and realize like the path to, the gateway, the ability to play in a jazz band is one of the most difficult entry points of I think any genre, period. I have tremendous respect for it as a self-taught musician that isn't like really tremendously virtuosic. I feel like everything I hear in jazz music is virtuosic, but I really don't think I'm messing with Jersey Girl on this particular album. If I had to guess, I'm just guessing. Jazz is not an at bat I'm ever really comfortable trying to go for. It's just unfamiliar territory for me. You know what I mean? So guys, you got to let me know. Have you heard this album before? Are you familiar, or are you raw dogging a very first listen with me? Now, there are certainly names on here that I recognize, but that said, there's a massive layer of ignorance to the entire genre. And it's in that spirit that we go forward and we listen to Miles Davis. And apparently a star-studded cast, you know, again, I'm not familiar with jazz music, but I've heard those names plenty. So I'm certainly excited to hop in here. And honestly, with this particular group of people, I don't think it gets much better. Guys, it looks like a lot of us have heard this. It looks like a lot of us have never heard this. So, this is kind of one of the best split reactions I think we get to do. I love it. Guys, I'm going to hit the play button. Before I do, it's very important to me that you know that you are awesome, that you are valuable, that you are important, that you matter, that you are deserving of love, and that I am abundantly grateful for even a moment of your time. If you like what you see, feel free to hit the like and the subscribe button. It goes a long way to help me out. If you really like what you see, leave a comment. I would love to hear from you. Or join us on Twitch. I stream every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Arizona time. These people over here are the best people. Come hang out with us. Come discover music with us. I know I speak for all of us when I say we would love to have you by. And guys, if you happen to have context as we go through this, like the keys, the modes, you know, who's playing what at which moment, you know, if you happen to identify a sense of communication, I would love your context on it, because again, to me, I sometimes I worry that when I listen to jazz albums or music, the most thrilling thing I have to say is, whoa, man. And I really hate that, but it doesn't stop me from wanting to discover the music and share in the conversation, and all of us participate together. So whether you're in the live show or the YouTube comment section, share what you know. Here we go. Starting off with the album Kind of Blue by Miles Davis, opening up with So What. My wife just shouted, yeah, from the other room. And I'm guessing it's not like because she hadn't been in there for very long, so I don't think it's like she peed on anything, you know? Ooh. That bass. And this is all improvisational, huh? With just brief structural framework. Oh! Ah! How is this taking me? That's so simple, so delicate, but... So nothing improvised yet, got it. This bass walk behind it... No. Thank you. So, okay. So it consists of two modes. 16 measures of the first, followed by 8 measures of the second, and then 8 measures again of the first. Good Nugget Garrett. What's up, Ron? I'm going back. I didn't realize I'd killed a drop. Sorry. I got it. Kind of blue balls. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't realize what I had done. fucking bass is just moving my soul. And Miles of the trumpet. Can I ask you guys something? So you hear these moments where he plays his trumpet very, very, very smooth, right? And I love that. It's got this kind of delicate kind of sound. But then every now and again, he like makes it roar, like in the middle of it being smooth, like. It's like then he goes right back to the smoothness. How is he doing that in the middle of it? Is he rumbling his mouth, or is he like overblowing and then bringing it back? Because I have a rough concept, a very rough concept of like wind instruments from like a harmonica, right? But it's a different concept than clearly what he's doing. So yeah. Breath control, I would imagine, is going to be the answer with almost any of these things. But it's like, is he rumbling his mouth or is he overblowing? Because that's a different thing. Like in here. See, it's like these moments really kind of make me realize how many different textures a trumpet has. And I guess when I say that, I mean, you don't always think about the fact that trumpets have different, similar dynamics, I guess, to any instrument, but the different phrasings that you can get out of that is super interesting. Like with a guitar, I can overdrive my amp. I can put delay or reverb or modulation or whatever I want to do. But with this case, this guy's doing it with breath control. And feelings from the sounds of things. And so the fact that he gets so expressive and so like really, I don't know. I didn't realize. The more I've listened to jazz, the more I'm realizing how they utilize not just the sound of the horn that they're playing, but the texture in which they're going about it. Like how soft, how loud, whether it's rumbling or whether it's like a loud horn with a pure note or a shaken note. Like there's so many different little parts of it that until I started listening to it, I had never really considered, but now it's like all I'm hearing. Like, this is exactly the tasteful jazz I asked for. Whoa. See, like that. I really love the patience of the other musicians as well. Like, they really do stay so true and consistent to what they do. And then here and again, you have these like little taster fills. Like the drummer just threw one in there, and that's what made me think to say this. But here and there, you have those random little like, whoa. he didn't do that before, but then you're right back to it. And there's something really cool about that. They really do have this, like, jazz really seems to be this, like, okay, all of us are going to support that guy. And then when that guy's done, and we're going to let him do it to it, like, we're really going to let him do it to it. When he's done, then we're all going to support that guy. And then whenever he's done, and then the guy that just got supported is like, no. You're over here ringleading. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna support you. And he's like, me? And he's like, no, not me. You can't do that. And they're like, no, you know what? Yeah, we're gonna support you. It's kind of cool to see that's been the consistent theme. Is like every jazz band I've heard that's like really been put in front of me because people have been like, Walter, this is jazz you gotta listen to. There's always that case where there is a team effort. Like, and it seems like they all care more about being selfless, and then whenever it's their turn, they give it all they got. It really makes me kind of connect how improvisational rock music and jam band connects. This is Coltrane, huh? Oh! Feels like you're in the room with the way they've got it panned in the mics. And the drum. The interplay of the drums and John right now is just owning me. Then you get a little playful bass taster in there. Do forgive my ignorance. Was Coltrane established in his own right already at this point? Like, was Miles Davis kind of who were they contemporaries, or was one certainly before the other? I love that they collaborate, and further than that, I think it's cool that Miles seems to have a lot of stuff in his pocket. Like, what we heard him do on Bitches Brew was so vastly different than this. And yet the similar thing remains. They kind of chill in, a room together. He wants it to be kind of a lightning in a bottle moment captured together. He wants geniuses to get to be themselves and be supported in, who they are as the musicians that they are. But it seems to be done in such greatly different contexts. It's really cool to see, I would say that this doesn't necessarily feel like an evolution to me because, this is going back in time from where Bitches Brew was. But this is kind of, to me in my brain, it hit me as like a really cool prequel. Like, this, I would say, is the easier thing to get into for just the casual listener. I think Bitches Brew is just one of those things, though, that, like, how do you... I mean, John McLaughlin, Like, what a guest. This is Cannonball. Okay. So based on my understanding of the positioning of the room, when we hear, of course, the trumpet, it's Miles. When we hear the saxophone in the left ear, we're thinking it's our boy John Coltrane, and when we hear it in the right ear, we're thinking it's Cannonball. At bare minimum, that is how my understanding of the panning is working. You're saying F sharp? Cannonball and alto. And there's the switch. And the alto and the bass are kind of playing against each other. Ooh. I love hearing the room in here, too. You can hear the echo of the trumpet coming back. Yo, Uncle Bird, what's up? Thank you for the 300 pickle bitties. The little flutter. Sorry, that little... That was maybe my favorite little taster of this whole album. Was just that little... Honestly, that evoked actual emotion out of me to the point that, like, I got, like... actually, like, kind of chill moment. That little bit of a flutter. I don't know what it was. I want to hear it again. That's so good. Trill, thank you. I knew better. Okay, this track's main 2-chord vamp, A9 sus 4 over E, mother of God over G9 sus 4 over D, or 2, that was the vamp. So it almost feels like it could be like a Mixolydian vamp in some ways, but because you're going like from A to G or E to D, but like in which one do you play? Is a good illustration of what modal jazz is all about. Both chords are voiced in mainly in fourths, and neither serve any clear functional role. They just generally establish the key that one is meant to play in, while the other being vague enough to permit going outside that space. The main chord progression isn't chords, it's how the music moves among the scales and into new keys. Up a semitone and back in that case. Okay. Tim, you're so cool, dude. Thank you for that. And, yo, Sojourn, welcome to the Rooskies, homie. I saw that you'd joined and subbed, and I'd not gotten a chance to say what's up to you, Rooskies. Make our new friend feel at home. When you say it that way, right? Like, when I think A to G, I think to myself, a Mixolydian, right? Or when I think like D to E, I think to myself like E Mixolydian. In this context, though, you have like the weird bass note thing happening. It's more about the mood rather than the chords. See, and I think this is where the jazz guys mess me up, right? Like, I'm still right now, I'm learning music theory because this channel has inspired me to do so. Like, the people that talk to me all the time, that have helped me become a better guitar player by helping me understand theory and like helping me learn the language of music, as opposed to me just being like, no, I'm a self-taught musician. I have found it significantly more important as a musician that I become aware of these things. And it's not easy. It's like I'm a 30-year-old, almost 30. I'll be 35 next month. So it's not like it's just coming to me naturally and easily. But I've really been working hard on getting all of my major modes down, right? Like, feels like a good step. So, because I do want to be able to just sit down and play with jazz guys and feel like, geez, even if I didn't like, rock star out there, I played and contributed to meaningfully pleasant sound. That part. So, okay. I hear it. Bill Evans taking a piano solo here. I'm bringing it back. I can't not hear So What in my head after you said that, Mel. So what? Dang it! Oh, it's so nice. Down. You said there's somebody with Jerry did this? Yep. You're right. Garcia Grisman does it? Hold the friggin' phone and shut your face. I can't wait. This song really blew my mind. I know I talked a lot about it, but you have to understand, it really made me want to learn. Like, and that's, I think, something really cool. I also really want to jam with this. An ad started. I'll be right back. I have literally been walking around ad break happens, I go hang a piss, and the entire time my brain is going, bum, bum. So what? So what? And I think that's the makings of something that sticks with you. When you have just that, like a moment that can stick in somebody's head just like that, like a TV jingle, but something a little bit smaller, just a bum bum. That little phrasing has just stuck with me. The other thing I was kind of thinking about is in this context, it's two chords, right? Effectively, like G and is it in the key of G or A. And with those bass notes, the D and the E, I'm inclined to think G because that puts, maybe I'm wrong. I'm just thinking about where they would be in positioning, but I don't know. I have such an interest in playing this, but I have such a fear of doing it on this video that I'm maybe gonna take an at bat later, but I don't know that I want to do it right now. I don't feel confident. So Freddie Freeloader, here we go. So this is all three of the boys, John, Cannonball, and Miles, right? What's up, Big Funny? Went on piano, got it. The bass line was gratuitous and awesome. So this is Wynton Kelly. I'm hearing the 12 bar step. So you could do a little pentatonic run. Listen to it ascend to descend, the bass. Piano and the bass playing off of each other is just amazing. I love that snare sound. Miles Davis, ladies and gentlemen. So does it walk? Is it like a B flat 7, E flat 7, walk up to F? When you're doing your like F flat or F7? Is that what? Okay. I can't believe they were saying jazz was evil. Is this John? There's something so yummy about hearing his echo in the other microphones in the room. I love following his ideas here. You know, his use of timing is so interesting. He uses these kind of pause moments. I don't want to quite call them like take and say Soras, but he has these like abrupt stop turbo strip thing happening with his playing that is really captivating. It's like revving up an engine or something. I mean, he really does have that kind of like it's like he's a priming engine. It's I feel like John Coltrane sounds like he might have more of an avant-garde kind of thing going on for him. This piano, though. I want to talk about this, or at least ask about it. So you have this piano, bum, bum, ba-dum, bum, as you've got cannonballing in the right ear, right? Do they just agree what the structure? Because the improvisational part of the jazz thing is where my brain starts going a little screwy, okay? Like, because it doesn't to me feel like... Trying to think of a way to say this without sounding like a dummy, but I know some chord shapes with numbers, right? Sure, but when you start augmenting and adding different numbers, I'm kind of off on it. And so when I hear you guys use these this chord over this chord to this chord over this chord. It breaks my brain a little bit. And then when we talk about improvising within those things, I start wondering what works. And some of it's so sharp and like seemingly supporting one another that it seems like there's no way it wasn't rehearsed, right? But then other times you're like, clearly it's not. This is clearly just brains working live, and it's incredible the way they do it. It's something that is just really fascinating me with the jazz. And I think when you hear so many proficient people in the same place, if you're a person that knows music, you can typically understand virtuosic music when you hear it. I would venture to say that about most musicians, right? Like, when you're hearing something that is actually special. Even if you don't like the music, if you're a real musician, you can tell if it's special or not, right? Even if you don't know much about the genre, you can tell typically if it's special or not. This is special. Like, what they're doing is masterful. It's not something I could just sit down and like, all right, guys, I feel like there's significantly more knowledge I would need to be able to try to step in and do something like this. And maybe I'm wrong, and maybe I'm creating a barrier in my head that doesn't exist, but I think that the thing that appeals to me about jazz is I feel like in my pursuit of trying to learn how to play it, I'm going to accidentally turbo strip my talent progress as a player. That's what we all want, right? Like to have a good relationship and be proficient with our instruments and find a way to make them further an extension of ourselves, right? Jazz has a unique way of lighting inspiration under my butt. Space is owning me right now. The respect that jazz band members have for each other is really cool and so obvious when you hear it done. I feel like of any genre, jazz is most clearly the genre where everybody recognizes that their part is necessary for the completion of the piece. I said the same thing when we listened to Bitches Brew. I'm certain I said the same thing when we listened to Dave Brubeck. There is something very obvious to me about hearing a jazz band be fronted by really any of the big names we've explored together. They have gone out of their way to put together a group of individuals that seem just eternally focused on being there to do their job, build the team up, and then when given their opportunity, express themselves in what they feel is a meaningful way, and then when that moment is over, get back to doing their job. it's such a it's such a unique perspective of like the working man meets the creative man meets the love of music. Um, I don't know. I, I- there is such an interesting ethos behind jazz, and I love it. I need to watch the jazz ones. I watched the Nirvana one. I haven't seen the Pearl Jam one yet. I've got a video on the Nirvana one. Blue and Green. John Coltrane and Bill Evans. Oh. Tiniest brushes on the drums here. There's something some notes just give your spine chills, and like this was one such moment. Like it's not like I got overwhelmed to the point of like I was gonna cry, but my eyes certainly welled up in the same moment that I got the chills down my spine. Like that trumpet just ran through me, dude. And when you get this delicate drum sound, and then this piano sound, like the atmosphere of this whole thing, it sounds like there's maybe a snare played with brushes and then like a ride with brushes as well. I think that this has potentially been my favorite like this is kind of the exact jazz I was asking for. This specific thing. Like this song is like what I was asking you guys to suggest me when we came into Jazz Month. If you look back, this is such a highlight. This is so this is modal jazz, right? Like what I am listening to right now is called modal jazz. I'm bringing it back to the beginning of the Coltrane solo just so we know, but so if I search modal jazz, am I going to find a bunch of stuff that sounds like this? the slow to fast, loud to soft dynamics of John friggin' Coltrane. But Bill Evans. Cool jazz might be my best bet. Okay. This does feel significantly easier than me trying to say, I'm gonna play along with Bitches Brew. I'm not gonna lie to you for even a second. This feels more attainable. Not that I'm gonna do it well, but I'm saying this does feel like the most attainable kind of jazz I've heard. I think what I like about it is it's so emotion-based. They're not flexing. They are creatively placing emotional moments of sound. I freaking love that lady. I think Blue and Green was my favorite song on this album. There was just something so delicate about that. It's coincidentally, it's also some of the most listenable jazz out there for a non-musician like me. I have never been interested in virtuosity without emotion. Kind of Blue is just pure emotion. I think that's exactly where I'm coming from with this, right? Like, I've heard some ridiculously virtuosic jazz, like, but sometimes I'm just like, wow, cool, you can do that. But this feels like I'm like, wow, it's cool that you feel that with your instrument. It does feel like a distinctly different way to say it, right? Um, I feel like each of them have done a great job to respect the laid out atmosphere, allowed themselves to be individuals. And, when I say that, I really do think you can tell a vast difference in the play style between John Coltrane and Cannonball Adderley, right? Or Adderley. I think you can definitely see their differences, but I also think you can recognize their ability to kind of fall in sync with the parts that they agree on, the kind of the foundational structures of the song, like when they play with Miles. And they have their own distinct voices, but then again, it's like they're dudes that go to work, like, hey, thanks for hearing my part, and then they go back into it. And there's something really cool about their ability to both be unique, but also be what the band needs them to be. Um, Blue and Green had such an atmospheric, such a pensive, such like a almost rainy day, but like being pensive on a rainy day rather than sad on a rainy day. Blue and Green almost makes me feel a little bit like sad somewhere. I don't know. But I think that this particular album's ability to evoke emotion from just simple framework, people respecting the song and one another and allowing their emotion to kind of take over. Like, this is really, really, really a cool. I'm really impressed with this. Listen to this. Yo, Gold Radio, thank you for the tickle bitties. This piano intro is moving. The tension it builds. Hey, first timers of the album, how's it hitting you guys? By the way, we have turned our albums over. We are now on side 2. If you're a vinyl listener. What's up, Corey? That bass! I want to go back. Bum bum. Da-down, da-down. Listen to the bass! Alright, it's coming up now. Love this ride sound. So do we just have a kick drum, a snare, a ride, and a hi-hat, or do we have a floor tom as well? I think I'm gonna keep trying to cross things off the big bingo card of jazz because admittedly I'm pretty ignorant in the genre, you know? I feel like I need to try to knock out some of the biggest names and get an understanding of what it is I'm looking for. I just know that I'm fascinated every time I step up into it. Further than that, I know I stopped right as our boy was getting ready to fly off there, but I can't help but when I listen to jazz, hear how much jazz has impacted the music I have been playing and chasing my whole life, you know? Especially when I start connecting like jam band music, you know, that especially as I've gotten into that in the last few years of my life, and I've really been trying to learn how to be a real actual improvisational guitar player, right? Like those things have become genuinely important to me. And I can tell you, I have had such a massive skill increase in the last like 2 years of me doing this because I've been playing, I've been practicing, I've been learning, not just frivolously learning, but actually like trying to learn and apply it in use case. Corey, dude, thank you for the tickle bitties, homie. Dude, you're too kind. You're a madman. But I think that when I realize how much of the music I have digested in my own life is written in lessons learned from jazz, it feels kind of an exciting prospect to feel like I'm kind of going to the source of this language that I'm wanting to learn so bad and have been practicing without ever actually maybe having heard the language. And like, yeah, I think jam band music in some ways is like a distant cousin of jazz. Like, let's be real. It's got a structure, it's got the improvisational thing, it's got an ending, right? But I think it's what's happening in the middle there that I'm so particularly fascinated with. And I can't help but notice that the penchant I'm finding for jazz is rooted in the exact same thing as the love I have for jam band, mustardy kind of stuff. There's something about the way the musicians work with one another that's moving to me, and I'm fascinated with it. Dude, Thrill Jockey, thank you for the 100 the 200 tickle biddies, you actual beauty. I won't lie though, the more I'm hearing stuff, the more my brain is hearing stuff I would play in moments. John Coltrane. Ooh. This might be my favorite Coltrane moment on the album. This is Cannonball? Forgive me. Their positions in the mix flipped. I am not Blossom. Okay, if this is Cannonball, I think that this is my favorite Cannonball moment on the album. Other than that trill earlier. You know, everything I've read about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar he talks so much of his love for jazz, how he shared it with his father, how his father was a musician, and I'm kind of getting it. Like, the idea of just losing yourself in quiet, pensive thought to this music is captivating to me. Something I can... Never, Aizano. And you only try in the playoffs. That whole beautiful solo, and then he intentionally throws in a little taster for you to... I really love that he does that. It's those moments that make me see the man. That. Like, you hear him do all these beautiful runs. You know he only misses if he wants to. What's up, Peachy? Welcome to the Rooskies. Glad you got to be here. Ooh, I'm gonna pause it right here. I feel like the John Coltrane. This is actually, it's a different kind of like than I have for Blue and Green. You know, this feels like much more of a conversation piece between the gentlemen. But I feel like you get a different kind of the dude's soul from, you know, what we're hearing with the band here and what you were hearing with Blue and Green, right? Like, Blue and Green seems like a much more sentimental piece. Seems like a much more maybe you know, kind of deep one. Whereas All Blues has kind of a fun bounce to it, you know? Doesn't feel like... I mean, honestly, in my brain, this is what I would want white noise of day-to-day tasks in my life to be. There's just something so nice and digestible about this whole thing. I absolutely feel like this has been the jazz album that I want to try to play with when you guys aren't around. I love the click, the snare. Bar moment. Dun, 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 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, Stop ruining my jazz internet. Yeah, I know, Rabbit. It's only June, friend. We got a lot more of this heat to go. We live in the desert. That's why my house is freezing and I have a sweater on. But in fairness, I live in a super tiny house in the middle of the desert, so it's very easy to keep cool. Oh, absolutely. Okay, all blues. Truly, the last two songs have been my favorite ones of the album. Every song has been good. I've definitely found another avenue of music to so flamenco stretches or sorry sketches. Ugh, brain small. SMOL. Well, come August, it's going to be 105 at 11:30 p.m. So prepare. Crap. I tell you what, this is unfortunate, but glad it happened now. I'm going to run the whole thing back. I'm going to start it over and do an ad because Twitch is asking I do that. So give me a few. I will be right back. Sorry about getting us started and stopping there, guys, but let's bring it back down and finish her all in one go so Twitch doesn't bother us with ads in the middle of the song. Here we go, Flamenco Sketches starting her back. This does, as I'm thinking about it, kind of remind me a little bit of like a scene in Charlie, like when Charlie Brown is walking sad. Who was the guy that did the score of the Charlie Brown movies? Or videos? The Peanuts videos, rather. And I don't want you to say Schroeder. Vince Guaraldi, yes. Oh. How does one not smile to this? Yo, Zen Dude Ninja, thank you for gifting out 5 subs. If you got one from Zen Dude Ninja, say thank you. Dude, thank you so much. This is just such an actual experience, dude. You know, and to think people were raised listening to this, I'm sitting here thinking about it. Maybe the generations before us had cooler heads because of, you know, this. You know? Like, make no mistake, I think each generation kind of made it a little bit worse for the subsequent generation. It seems to be that's a generational story arc here, you know, and as we all have learned, history does repeat itself, and we've still not figured out how to make history repeat itself for the better. We're working on that one, but I feel like a culture that grew up listening to stuff like this versus like whatever you would like to try to make sense of the music that is popular in the world today. I think you can agree that, like, maybe if you spent all your time listening to one versus the other, you might have different attitudes at, leaving a life spent listening to either. Um, this feels good. This feels like this maybe gives a chance for some. I want to raise my kids in a house where jazz happens. Babe, I want to raise our kids in a house where jazz happens. She said, duh. That's how you know I married a good woman. No, not exclusively jazz. We're going to be a lot of music household. Have you met me? Can somebody explain this rumble to me? Is there I'm going back a little bit. I want to call attention to the drums and just ask a jazz drummery familiar person to help me out on this one. It feels like there's like a vibrating, rattling chain on a ride here, but is this just brushes against the ride that's ridiculously fast and delicate? Right here? Right here? Or is that on a snare? That's a snare. This just is kind of music that's making me feel good. Not a lot of music. Not a lot of music has the ability to be so emotionally evocative without words. And this is purely emotional evocation through the sound of instrumentation. And it's so good to me. This is definitely feel-good music. There's something about the atmosphere here. And I don't know if it's that, like, because, I'm talking to friends and I'm just enjoying the soundtrack and, like, we're enjoying the soundtrack. And there's something so tasteful about how delicate this all is. Like, when they take their features, their notes are kind of less is more, and they are more impactful than they are plentiful. And that is a really, really, really cool approach to this whole thing. Ooh. If this is less is more, giant steps is more is more. Oh. The piano is so lovely. I've always wanted to try a sensory deprivation tank. How does one not just feel so fulfilled listening to this? The bass and the piano against each other. So you have, I think John is in the left ear again. I think. Am I wrong? Tell me if I'm wrong. I think that's the case. I think John's in the left ear again, but I think what's very interesting about this particular moment is kind of what seems to be a side conversation between the bass player and the piano player. It's Cannonball in the left ear right now? Okay. That little descent. The little phrases. Ooh, that changed it up. Miles, sir. I would agree with you. I think on green is blue. Hearing a man's voice through his horn is a new concept to me, but it's one I'm absolutely finding to be real. I think that this is going to be music that lives in my house for the rest of my life. It's not a joke. I really think that this is music that's just gonna find its way into the network of our life here. There's something so appealing about the laid back vibe, but it also feels like it could be a good entry point into trying to learn to play jazz as a participant. It also feels like one of those things that I could just hit play on and allow my brain the chance to just, which I think we all need from time to time. I definitely wasn't sure what I was going to walk into. Again, because jazz is largely unexplored territory for me. So there's a lot to find. And I didn't quite know how to tell people that what I was looking for was something like, but not necessarily, blue and green. But I'm glad I found this to further connect that dot. First timers. I think we can agree that that was something wonderful, can't we? What were your thoughts? Guys, I love you. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for the positivity that you show both to me and to one another. Continue to be the best. And until I see you next, be introspective and consider the birds. Goodbye.